some more vintage sodas. I appreciate everybody joining at this point in time. Early's early, but I've had my coffee, so I hope you've had yours. We'll go ahead and start with the Royal Ruby. Well, actually, let me make a bit of an apology. When I was looking at these sodas, I didn't realize how hard it would be to find some of these ingredients. So I do apologize if you've hunted and not been able to find things. So for example, with this very first recipe, I thought I could find just regular rose petals. Instead, I had to go for some dried edible rose petals. But let's go ahead and try it and see how it works. So let's see, which glass do I want to use? Actually, I'll just use this clear shaker for now. So it's 6 rose leaves. And here, I'm just going to grab a little pinch, which should be approximately 6, give or take. Set it back here. So next, menthe, which was much easier to find. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And let's see. It's a cracked ice. I found this little mold that's supposed to give cracked ice. Actually crack it. So let's go here. I apologize as I seem to have failed in my prep work. This is interesting. It's I guess a striped mold.
Well, while you're prepping, Jason, I'm going to tell you in the chat, everybody's saying hi. And somebody said that your jacket and bow tie are amazing.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much. The jacket's actually a J. Peterman, and I managed to get it on sale, but I had always wanted a nice boating blazer. So when I saw this, I had to snag it. So I think that works for the cracked ice. And it says crush against the sides. course. Some of the cracked ice didn't quite as cracked as I would have liked, but realized I don't have a proper muddle. But that should get us for now. So let's see. This has 2 ounces grape juice. So this has a 1 ounce mark in the middle. So there's 1. 2. Strawberry syrup. That was the other piece of prep I should have done, making sure I can actually get all of these open. Since they're all sugary syrups, over time, that kind of crystallizes and makes it hard to get open. So, put the lid back on that. I think that beeping is me in the background somewhere. Let's see, next. Stir thoroughly, add carbonated water, serve in a tall lemonade glass. So I will grab one of their glasses and I will use this soda siphon for this one. Now it doesn't say anything about straining. So I'm assuming I can just pour it straight. And that way you still get bits of rose and mint. So this is a Royal Ruby. And I think the color's nice and appropriate. This one's good. I had tried one with some rose water and some mint syrup, and both were way too strong, and it didn't mix well with any of the other flavors. So let's see, where can I put this out of the way? So let's see, put these here in the sink, get them out of the way. So the next is the angel food. And for that one, I'll use, do I have another clear? I thought I did, but I'll use this regular shaker for now. So I'll use one of these stepped jiggers. So it is, make sure I'm grabbing my ones. Now, I'll go ahead and make this with the full amounts, but to be honest, that was way too sweet for me. And the blood orange, which was actually easier to find than I thought. I ran across it at a Cost Plus World Market. Admittedly, any and all of these you can buy online, but I'd rather go ahead and find something where I can get my hands on it. So I figured I'd just go ahead and put both in. So that's an ounce of each in here. And that's already got them mixed a little. Now the fun part, ice cream.
Jason, a quick question. What was the
Certainly.
first syrup you put in?
Oh, it's vanilla and red orange syrup. And I found this exact same recipe from, I want to say this one's from 1909. I found one from 1912, but it was listed as Tsar of all Russias. And they sold it for less. I think this was 15 cents and that was like 12 or 10. Get some various syrups off my hands. I hate to say it, but if y'all excuse me, let me go deal with that beeping. Sorry, I thought I had turned everything off before starting, but that also gave the ice cream a chance to melt a little. Now it says 2 ounces, but one really big, generous scoop works. And I'm actually gonna, let's see, do that one, and I'm gonna do another one. No such thing as too much ice cream. There we go. So, put that in there. This in. So it also says ice 1/4 glass. So we can just use this ice here. Strain it just a little. So take one of these chunks. So put it all in the shaker. And now this one you have to shake really hard because you want to break up that ice cream. And that's the purpose of the ice, is to give everything something to work against. So, yeah, this is good size. So, take the lid off. And we strain it. Hopefully we're not leaving any of that wonderful ice cream behind. And then it says shake, strain, toss, and serve. So let's just get another glass here. And tossing is just the throwing back and forth. Now, if you'll notice in the actual recipe here, they've neglected to mention soda. And I didn't realize that until I was making it for the first time. And it's like, well, if it's a soda drink, you need soda. So here's a nice, lovely pink. I just realized I completely forgot the garnish on the Royal Ruby. Decorate with a cherry and a slice of lemon. I have a lemon that I was going to slice. And then the biggie on that one was the creme de menthe cherries. You just can't find them. Now, back when they were first adding cherries to drinks, pardon me, part of the process was to bleach them and then dye them whatever color you wanted and soak them in whatever liqueur or flavor. That's where you get the original maraschino cherries and things like the creme de menthe cherries. They just don't do that anymore. The closest I could find to a creme de menthe cherry was green cherries, but they're lime flavored, which is really weird. So anywho, back to the angel food. Let's go ahead and try this. Ooh, I like it, but it's way too sweet. So if I was going to make this for myself, I would go to half an ounce of the two syrups and maybe up the ice cream a bit. But it's still a really, really neat flavored soda. So many questions since I've kind of hopped around a bit.
No questions right now.
Okay.
Everybody's just admiring the delicious sodas.
Let's see. Make sure I know what I'm doing for the next one. I'll use this nice big shaker. One of these because it's also an ounce of each syrup. In this case, it is orange and strawberry. 1 ounce of the orange. Ounce of the strawberry. Also calls for some cracked ice, but I'm going to put a couple of those. A little chunk of this. This was shaved ice, and now it is one big, massive hunk of ice. Let's see if I can dislodge some. Never neglect your prep steps. You're supposed to take something out of the freezer. Make sure you get it out of the freezer in time. Fridge. So it's really just these. So shake. Feels like that's a little loose. Small glasses. Small paper towels. So, rather than straining, I'm just going to go ahead. Pour it all in here. So, shake and coarse stream. And now decorate with fruit. So, slice up this orange. So, just drop that. And then, whoops, the other strawberry. So, strawberry on top, or strawberry on the straw. So here's how a spa fizz is supposed to look. And this is the one thing I've been remiss on from pretty much all of my samples so far is the decoration. They would often go way out of their way to add various fruits and garnishes to make the drinks look really exciting. So This one's really good too. Although I may back off a little on the syrups next time, especially since you have all this extra fruit.
Hey, question from the audience.
Certainly.
Jason, just out of curiosity, are you a bartender mixologist by day or as a hobby?
This is purely a hobby. In fact, I am allergic to alcohol. So this is my attempt at learning some of those skills without killing myself. So I never got started drinking anyway. And I just enjoy finding these antique recipes and doing my best to duplicate them. So that's it for the drink portion of the program. How are we on time?
Oh, we are good. It is. Wait, are you in East Coast time zone?
Yes.
Okay, it is 10:35, and we have until 11:15.
Oh, good.
11:30. 11. We have till 11:30.
Whoops. Rinse off this, since we're going to be doing more ice cream. Since we've now reached the Sunday portion of the program. Although it is Saturday. I don't know who puts these schedules together, but they seem to have missed their chance. Excuse me a second. I don't want my little jiggers going down the drain. So for this one, I'm going to use just a regular bowl. It says take a deep Sunday dish, but trying to find something like that these days, everybody has their own idea. So this is what's called the free lunch. And let's see, let's start with paper towel around the outside so I don't get too messy. A lot of these recipes call for just ice cream. They don't specify a flavor. In those cases, I always go for vanilla. In this case, it does call for vanilla ice cream. And so let's see how big of a scoop we can make. They had different sizes of ice cream dishers. And sometimes the recipes call out what size, sometimes they don't. This just says one disher full. So that's what we have here. I'll just put that there for now. So for this first one, put some chocolate syrup, which I have here. few pieces of sliced banana. So let's shift to wine jar. Wash this a little. Yes, I am in a hotel, and you're hearing dogs. Turn off. So that's properly accounted for. And it doesn't say how to slice it, it just says slice. So I'm just going to do some angular. It also doesn't necessarily say how to arrange them. Just a few pieces of sliced tomatoes. Here's the interesting one. A half teaspoon of malted milk. Now, I've tried it both ways, either with just the powder or with actually mixing it with milk to make a half tablespoon of malted milk. But that was just milk and it just ran all over everything and made it messy. So I'm just doing a half teaspoon of the malted milk powder. Now another scoop. Which is supposed to go on top, which makes me think I didn't do a big enough one on that original. Weird noises. So, another disher full chocolate syrup. More sliced bananas. Makes sense to do it like this, so I'm not having to carry them. There we go. It says a spoonful of chopped pecans. Get as much as we can. Just sprinkle. There. And then at the top, in the center, place a maraschino cherry with a toothpick through it. Just one. toothpick. Maraschino cherry. Top of the toothpick. And per the recipe, it sells readily for 15 cents. $0.15.
Question.
That's a
Why
lot
is
for
it called
15 cents.
Why is it called a free lunch?
A free lunch. Well, from what I understand, this was a fountain in a college town. And let's see. Yeah, it says has been especially popular with the students in our neighborhood. So I have a feeling that for 15 cents, they could go in and get filled up on this instead of a, soup sandwich. I think they preferred this. But sometimes the names of these are not actually descriptive of what they really are. But I like free lunch. And it looks good. Where's the spoon? Take this off first. Presumably, those dogs are upset because they're not getting any. The malted milk powder gives it a little bit of an extra crunch or texture, which is pretty good. I think I will have to do more Sundaes as part of these demos. Or maybe all Sundaes. Blow whatever diet I might be having right out of the water. So that's it for the demos on the program. Any questions, any suggestions? I mean, I offer this, but we're kind of virtual at the moment.
The only question right now is about the doggos, which I believe you said were in a nearby hotel room.
Yeah, I'm at a Residence Inn, so presumably they are pet friendly. I'm just not sure how loud pet friendly are. But yeah, they were making noise last night at about 11 o'clock. So, and I'm also on the second floor. So if they're outside downstairs, I hear them too. But I think they're just right next door. I guess that's something I have to ask for next time is low floor, no dogs.
Yeah. Here's a question. In terms of making vintage Sunday recipes, what makes them unique from today's Sundaes?
In some cases, not a lot. Sometimes it's the ingredients. because they often use odder combinations of things. There are a ton that use Nabisco wafers, which are nowhere near the Nabisco wafers you can get today. And there's the stacked cookies with a little bit of cream in between, kind of waffly layers. That was the primary Nabisco product back in the day. Now, I did find one called, what was the name? I think it was Four Square, and it used ladyfingers as the base. You just set 2 out and then another 2 on top and made a little square, basically a hash sign, and piled everything up on top of that. A lot of them use weird combinations of fruit, almost like an entire fruit salad added to chocolate or strawberry ice cream. And I've not been brave enough to try any of those. Sneak another bite.
Another question. Have you been to any old-fashioned ice cream parlors that serve something similar to this?
I have indeed. I've not made it to a ton, and there are a ton out there. You just have to hunt to find them. But in Columbus, Indiana, there is a place called Zaharakos. And it was started by the Zaharakos brothers back in 1900. They are still in business. The fountains that they use are from the liquid carbolic company. Geez. Apparently, they purchased those from the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. Now, I found a picture of the liquid carbolic company booth, their huge display, where they were serving out of soda fountains. And they look exactly like the ones at Zaharakos. Now, Zaharakos also acts as kind of a museum. They have smaller fountains from other manufacturers. They have a massive set of magazines and trade publications. They never threw anything out. You can actually rent the upstairs as an event space. And the best part of that is they have the Victorian apartment where one of the Zaharakos brothers lived while they were running the fountain. So it has been kept in its Victorian condition. And you can actually have a dinner party up there, limited to 10, because that's the size of the dining table. The place is gorgeous. Top to bottom, everything is magnificent. And everything I had there was fantastic. I mean, I had a great sandwich and a great soda, and I got a chocolate shake on the way as we left. So I'm walking through the streets of Columbus, Indiana at 20 degrees, I think, with a chocolate shake in my hand. And it was oh so worth it. So we've adjusted our route going to shows out in the Midwest so we can spend a night in Columbus, Indiana and visit Zaharakos. It's well worth stopping off, and even if you're not going to get a full meal, just to grab something to go or just take a look, just an amazing place. So now I'm on the hunt for more. They're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So we can stop off on our trip up like a Wednesday night. But if we're coming back from, say, Madison, Wisconsin for TeslaCon, now I need to find somewhere else to stop Monday night so we can visit another fountain. And I still need to find what might exist in this area.
It looks amazing on their website. I'm screen sharing. They have a gorgeous Google map of the inside of the shop.
Oh, yes. I mean, we were in heaven. We managed to get there on the new manager's first day. So he gave us the full tour. Took us upstairs, which had already been closed. The hallways are lined with, I guess, just the covers of Soda Fountain magazine from the 1920s, along with some pages out of fountain manufacturers' catalogs showing their various offerings. So I was in awe.
So cool. Question related to what you're talking about. When you say we, do you mean your wife? And is this also her hobby?
Actually, no. My wife is a bit of an introvert, so she stays at home with the cats. I have a couple of assistants who help me with the table at conventions and traveling and such. So we means any number of my assistants. The last trip to Tesla, I went with a couple of folks from the Atlanta Steampunk Expo. And they went up to make contacts at Tesla, and we had a great time on the road. And they were able to help me with the table. I will not do a show like that alone anymore. I hate trying to run the booth and do panels at the same time. So it's good to have someone who is a better salesperson than I am, looking after the table while I'm doing panels like this. And I miss those days. I miss being able to hit the road and have adventures. I think we all do at this point.
Yeah. Let's see. A recommendation. If you're ever in San Francisco, Jason, you should check out Ice Cream Bar. It's a 1930s themed soda fountain with sundaes.
Oh, neat. That will go on the list.
Okay, there was a question earlier. Why do you think we consider older food combinations odd? What has changed in terms of what we eat, how we taste? And then the example being like 50s Jell-O salads, how those are odd to us now.
I think a part of it is overall tastes change, but at the same time, the tastes change because what we are being given has changed. As more and more things get automated and corporatized, I guess if that's the right term, things get kind of dumbed down and simplified. So, you know, we're used to what we're being fed. So if people are no longer making those odd Jell-O salads, then that's off our taste radar. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing this is I wanted to try some of these unusual combinations. I mean, I never would have thought of putting both mint and rose in a soda. And it's not bad. As I try to dodge getting the leaves stuck in my teeth. That's what straws are for.
Oh, there's a comment about the Jello salad. Salad specifically was a hot thing because making stuff with aspic is such a long, labor-intensive process. It was very much a rich person food, and Jello brought aspic to the masses.
Yep.
Yeah.
For a long time, ice cream was a rich person's food because the effort to keep things cold meant you had the money to do so. So how are we on?
Let's see. Oh, time. It is 11 a.m. We are technically scheduled till 11:30, but no pressure. You have finished your demos. We do have a couple more questions right now, though.
Oh, sure. Please keep them coming.
How and where did you find these recipes? I'm thinking of doing some research myself.
Okay. Google Books, archive.org, and look for things like old pharmaceutical trade publication. Now, the bulk of these come from a book called The Dispenser's Formulary. And that was compiled by the editors of the Soda Fountain magazine. And originally it was from one of the drugstore trade publications. And there's just an amazing amount of stuff out there, but it takes a little digging. The only issues of Soda Fountain I was able to find, one is from the early teens and the other one is like 1922. But they ran for decades. So they exist in libraries, but those were the only ones that had been scanned in and put online. So while we're limited to what had been scanned, there's an amazing amount of material out there. And I had stumbled across an article in a pharmaceutical magazine. And it was on how to run your soda fountain. And it had some suggested recipes. And that was the rabbit hole that I dove down.
Someone mentioned if you like a historic food, there's a series on Netflix called Lords and Ladies. That's a lot of fun. Are you familiar with it?
That one I've not heard of. I've watched the BBC's Supersizers, and then they have a ton of different programs about all different eras of food prep and what it was like to eat those things. All just absolutely fascinating.
We are at the end of our questions at the moment. Does anybody have any more questions for Jason? Oh, more info on Lords and Ladies. It's about chefs that recreate menus that were served at different Irish castles and estates.
Oh, neat.
Fascinating.
Speaking of menus, the New York Public Library has an amazing collection of vintage menus. And there's been kind of an open sourced initiative to translate those or at least, get a text version, because a lot of these were handwritten. And I believe it's called What's on the Menu. But there's some absolutely fascinating stuff. So you're talking about all the major hotels and restaurants in New York City during the Gilded Age. So lots of menus from the Delmonico's, the Waldorf Astoria, things like that. So it's always interesting to read through those. They have a lot of menus from trade and fraternal organization special dinners. So you've got like the 5 or 6 courses and what the drinks they served with each meal and what they had for dessert, the coffees, the nuts and cheeses where we would expect something like, the Sunday. So well worth checking out. Anything else? Anybody else?
I think we might have come to the end.
Okay. Well, I can give you half an hour of your morning back, if that's okay with you all.
Certainly. You have a panel tomorrow, don't you, Jason?
Yes, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., this time on manners and etiquette. And a lot of it I'm going to be pulling from a wonderful tome called Don't. And it's purely about what you should not be doing. And I believe that the gentleman who wrote that book, about 5 years later, his wife wrote a rebuttal called Do. But for now, we'll just be talking about Don't. And there's some wonderful stuff in there. But that's it for now. I'm Jason Merrill with Blackbird Finery. So if you're up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, join me for Manners Maketh, and I will see you then. Thanks for joining.